listening to this story that Jesus has told to his disciples, immediately your mind tells you that the owner of the vineyard was unfair, was unjust. Because how does he pay the same amount of money those that worked the whole day, that he hired from morning to wake up to evening, and those that he hired at the last hour? How does he give them the same amount of wages? This is unfair. This is unjust. The owner of the vineyard, the owner of the money, looks at these that are complaining and says, "Dear friends, I am not doing you any wrong. We agreed that I was going to pay you 1 kwacha, and this is what I'm giving you. Am I not allowed to do what I want to do with what belongs to me? Or should I follow what you think is right? We agreed, the contract was 1 kwacha, and this is what I'm giving you." Jesus is not really trying to tell a story of what you should be paid according to how many hours you have worked, whether 1 hour, 2 hours, the whole day. Jesus is not really trying to drive that point home. He's talking about the kingdom of God and uses the image of the vineyard to talk about the kingdom of God. And the question that we can ask ourselves after reflecting on this is, who deserves to be in the kingdom of God? Who deserves to be ushered into the kingdom of God? Does it matter that you have been a Christian for so many years? Does it also matter that you have only been a Christian for 1 month? Because there are people that convert right at the last hour of their life. Do they deserve a part in the kingdom of heaven? So what Jesus is talking about here is not how long you have worked in the vineyard. It's not the quantity of time you have spent in the vineyard as a Christian, as a member of the parish, as a member of that Christian community. Because you can be a Christian for so many years, but then you have not lived according to what you promised. You can be a member of a parish for so many years, but then you have been a source of confusion in the parish. You can be a member of the Smokesam community for so many years, but then you have not given anybody peace in that Smokesam community for so many years. So does it matter how long you have been a member? Jesus is saying, no. You are paid according to how you have lived your life, according to how you have worked in the vineyard, not according to how many hours you have spent in the vineyard. And this is the point that is trying to drive also to you and I. That we should shift our focus, our mind, from how long to what you have done, how you have inspired somebody, how you have inspired some people, how your life has been inspirational. That is what should be our focus. There are people who complain in the parish. I've been here for so many years, but then the parish priest has never even given me a leadership position, not even in a committee. But this one just came yesterday. This one just came last month. And look at him, look at her. He is a parish chairperson. She is a Smokesam community chairperson. But some of us have been here for a long time. Maybe shift your mind from focusing on how long you have been in that parish to how you have lived your life as a member of that parish. Maybe there is very little that is inspiration about how you have lived your life. And so everybody is scared giving you a position of leadership because they don't know what you're going to do. And this is what Jesus wants us to focus on. How have you lived your life? Not for how long you have lived that life. Lastly, Jesus wants us to also reflect on these that have not been hired, that he hires at the very last hour. What does he want us to reflect on about these people? When he missed them, when the owner of the vineyard missed them, they say, nobody has hired us. In other words, we have been neglected. We have been bypassed. Maybe we are so insignificant. Maybe we don't seem to have what it takes for us to work in the vineyard. And so everybody is just bypassing us. They are getting everybody else except us. Nobody has hired us. And the owner of the vineyard says, I'm going to hire you myself. If in the other farms, the owners have not seen any value in you, I'm going to see value in you and hire you. I'm going to pay you so much. And reflecting on this, Jesus wants us to reflect on the forgotten, those that are deemed insignificant. It could be in the parish, it could be in our own families, in our own communities where we live, the forgotten. Who are those, the forgotten? It is the weak. It is those that do not have the voice to speak for themselves. When they speak, nobody hears them. It is those that are poor, those that don't have any title to their name. It is those that are deemed they have nothing to offer. Those are the forgotten. Those are the neglected. Those are the ones that everybody else has been bypassing. But then, in the eyes of God, even those are important. And that is why this owner of the vineyard, representing God himself, looks at them and says, well and good, everybody else did not see value in you, and that is why they didn't hire you. But I'm hiring you because I see value in you. Because I see that you are important. I see that you have something to offer. And so go and work in my vineyard, and I'm going to pay you. In the eyes of God, nobody is insignificant. Everybody is important. Everybody has something to offer. I may not have the money, but I have the wisdom. The person that has the influence may not have what I have. So everybody has something that has some value. And that value has to be recognized by everybody else. You cannot write off somebody simply because they are not educated, simply because they don't have the money, simply because they don't have titles to their names, simply because they don't have a voice to speak and to be heard. You can't write somebody off based on that, because in the eyes of God, everybody is important. And that is how we have to look at each other, as equally important. And we all have something to offer. We all have something to bring to the table. We have to have those eyes that see value in those that have been neglected, the forgotten.